Hello everyone. Today in this video tutorial I will be taking care of a new light sensor, a color sensor specifically, and it's a BH1745NUC. And to gain more knowledge about this sensor, let's have a look over the controleverything.com, and here we have to search for this particular sensor and let's see what we got for it. As you can see, it's a digital ambient light and color sensor, and also it's the sum of features which are described clearly on this screen. You can have the sensor, you can purchase the sensor from here also. Furthermore, I will be interfacing the ambient light and color sensor BH1745NUC with a Raspberry Pi and a Java code. And to get the Java code, let's go to resource tab, and here we have the Java code sample. You can download the Java code sample as a zip file from here. That's correct. Also, you can have the code from github.com, and the repository there is Control Everything Community. Now let's have a look over the hardware connections we would like to set up, and let's proceed further. In the hardware connection setup, first of all, the requirement is the digital ambient light and color sensor, that is BH1745NUC, and this here is a Raspberry Pi. Now these are the GPIO pins of the Raspberry Pi, as you can see on my screen. Now this here is an I2C Shield. It's available on the website, that is controleverything.com, and you can purchase it from there. It's very useful, and the real reason we are using this is to make easy connections with other I2C devices. So gently place the I2C Shield over the GPIO pins of the Raspberry Pi, and we are done with that. Now the next part is this, a connecting cable. And while making connection with the sensor, make sure that the brown wire of the cable should be connected to the ground terminal of the sensor, and for the same reason, I2C Shield. So we are done with this. Now what do we require is to power up the Raspberry Pi, and for that we require a micro USB cable just like that, and gently insert it over the power jack. Now the last part is to provide an internet connection, and there are two ways. And first of all, this here is an Ethernet or a LAN cable. Gently insert it over the Ethernet jack, and we are done with the internet connection. In case if we don't have this, we can go for an wireless nano USB adapter just like that, and we can save our day for this. Now as we are done with all the connections for the hardware setup, now let's have a look over the code and let's interface. Now what do we require is to have a look over the Java code so that we can clarify and explain it better. And to get the code, github.com is there, log in there, and here we have to search for the repository, that is Control Everything Community. Now here this is our sensor, that is BH1745NUC, and this here is the Java code. But let's have a look over the instructions we need to fulfill first. As you can see, you can download and install the Pi4j library on the Raspberry Pi. We have to, and pi4j.com is the link from where we can download the library Pi4j, and all the relevant information instructions are there. Please follow these carefully and do the installation nightly. After that, we have to compile the code, and this is the command, and this is the command to run the code. Note it down. Now get back to the code. As you can see, it's a .java extension file, and in the code, please notice that we have imported some of the libraries from the Pi4j for better working, and we have created a class named BH1745NUC, and we have bus.getDevice which have the address of the sensor, that is 0x38. Now in the writing part, we have selected a mode control lister having address 0x41, and we are sending the command for RGBC measurement time, that is 160 millisecond, and it's 0x00. After that, we are selecting mode control register 2, that is 0x42, and we are sending the command for RGBC measurement active gain equal to 1x, and it's 0x90. And the last command is to select mode control lister 3 having address 0x44, and the command here we are sending is to get the default value, that is 0x02. After that, we are reading 8 bytes of the data from the address 0x50, and it contains RGBC values. And here the conversion of the data for the RGBC takes place, which is according to the details provided in the datasheet for BH1745NUC. At the very end of our code, we have the output data to be printed on the screen, which is the red, green, blue, clear data, luminance, and the unit is lux, as you can see. Now what do we require is to have a look over the practicality of this code, and let's see how it works. So have it. Coming to the working environment part, the first step is to copy this entire code, as you can see, of the Java and open up the terminal of the Raspberry Pi via internet. And here we have to create a new file, as you can see on my screen, and .java is the extension. And here we go, and here we have to paste the entire code, and after that we have to save it. And then this is the command for the compilation of the code, as you can see on my screen, and there you go. The code compiled successfully, and this here is the command to run the Java code. And as you see, we have the RGBC, red, green, blue, clear data, and as you run the command again and again, you see the values there, but the pattern is there. The very small changes are there because there is no interference regarding the light intensity falling on the sensor. But when I place some object over the sensor and run the command, you can see the change in the RGBC value, and it decreasing continuously as I move my object over the sensor. But instead, when I bring a light source near the sensor, you can see the changes there, and the intensity of the RGBC data increases. As I move the light source near the sensor, you can see the changes there. Yeah, that's correct, it's increasing. Now this is how the sensor responds to the Java code along with the Raspberry Pi. Now what do we require is to have a look over the benefits, features, and the applications regarding the ambient light and sensor, color sensor, that is BH1745NUC. Let's have it. BH1745NUC is a digital color sensor IC with I2C bus interface. This IC senses red, green, and blue light RGB and converts them to digital values. The high sensitivity, wide dynamic range, and excellent circuit characteristics make this IC the most suitable to obtain the illuminance and color temperature of ambient for adjusting LCD backlight of TV, mobile phone, Node PC, tablet PC, portable game machine, PDA, and LCD display. This sensor is available on the website controleverything.com, and you can purchase the sensor from there. You can have the code from the resource tab, and after that you can download the code as a zip file. You can also have the code from github.com, and the repository there is Control Everything Community. In the end, I would like to clear everything, and for further queries you can have a look over controleverything.com. You can contact us there, and also for comments you can post your comments on community page. For articles and blogs which are relevant to this sensor and video, you can go to instructables.com, and to subscribe more video tutorials like this you can have a look over our YouTube channel. I hope you enjoyed this video and have a good one yourself. Thanks a lot for watching.